Hi everyone, Sue from Art Craft Journals, and I'm here today to show you some slow stitch embellishments that I've been making, or hand stitched embellishments. Now I've tried to keep them in the sort of neutral tones because I seem to be doing a lot of the vintage stuff at the moment, so I kind of wanted to keep it into neutral tones. And the way I figured it is, if I stick to neutral tones, then I can add a little bit of colour if necessary later. So I'll just flick through the ones that I've done, and then I might make a couple, I'll do a couple on camera. So there's this one here. Now this is a printed, it was printed onto calico, which is this fabric here. It was actually using a printer transfer paper, so it wasn't printed directly onto the fabric like I've seen some people do. It was actually like a fabric transfer paper, which wasn't too bad, except it kind of makes it a little bit stiff. I'll just have a look here. They're a little bit stiff and plasticky, so I don't know if I'll do that again. I might try the other method of printing onto the fabric. But I thought I had them, so I thought I'd use them. So this one here basically was the calico backing, or I think it's, some people call it muslin. Then there's just some bits and pieces of lace. This one's also got a little bit of a light coloured fabric as well. There's a bit of lace there, a bit of the crocheted lace there. And basically it's just been hand stitched on sort of any old direction that I needed to. So there's that one. There's this one here, again, calico background with some rickrack, some different fabric, and just two different laces there, and a colourful bit there, bit of fabric there. This one much more neutral. This one I stamped using an archival ink onto some of the muslin and then sewed it on. Same with the print there, the script. And a longer one. And basically again with the backing of the calico and then some different laces, bit of fabric and some rickrack. So that would be good as a sort of a edge of the page embellishment, I think. And a smaller one. This one I've used same sort of things. It's just got an offcut from a doily on there. I'll just bring that up a little bit. So that's that one. This one's actually different. This one's just a fabric flip, but I was just messing around with this one. So that one's flowers stamped on. Just some fabric, and then the calico backing with a bit of the, I think that was a curtain lace or something. And this one's a little bit more colourful. Oh, there's threads everywhere. This one's a little bit more colourful. Again, it's got the printed, they're actually T-cards, printed T-card with a little bit of coloured fabric, just for a bit of colour. I might just see if I can come in a little bit. There we go. And another one. So again, the printed embellishment or image and little bits of lace. The good thing with these is that you can use the tiniest bits of lace. This one, for example, you can see that's just a little offcut of lace from somewhere, or applique from somewhere. And another more colourful one. This one goes this way, so this one could be maybe put onto a pocket or something like that. And another long one. This one says, "Let your dreams take flight." So that was the stamp. I might just have to bring that one down a bit. So that one's quite long, so that one would definitely be a side of the page. And the same with this one. And again, this one's got some offcuts of doilies and a stamped image, and just some fabric, some sort of vintage looking fabric. And again, some more vintage fabric, the printed image, some lace. So that's that one. So what I thought I'd do is I'd just go through making a couple. I've just got some small pieces of fabric. I might just use the smaller one. And all I do is I just use a neutral thread. So it's a sort of an off-white ecru colour. It's just normal cotton, nothing too fancy. Now let me see, I've just got some bits and pieces here. I've got some vintage lace, different shades. I've also got some little bits here as well, just little bits. I've got some stamped images and I just went through and stamped those on there, and I'll just cut them off. I've also got some neutral fabrics that was part of a jelly roll that I bought a while ago. I've got these bits of fabric here, a little bit of rickrack. I think I've got one of these images left, and just bits and pieces of lace and stamped bits and pieces. I also have my jar of tiny bits as well. So it's just a matter of using all those little itsy bitsy bits up, I think. Now to start, let me see. Quite like that on there, but it doesn't really show very much, so I might just pop some of this underneath. Let's just have a look. I do try to do it so you can see all the different layers. Might do that, but I might cut it a bit thinner. Let's have a look. It doesn't have to be perfect, that's the good thing about it, and you certainly don't have to be an expert sewer to do any of this. It's very simple. It's just basically what I call a running stitch, in and out, up and down. Trim off some of those little bits. Now what I do is I place them where I want them to be. Not sure if I do want to cover that actually. I could have a bit of an overhang, I think. We might do it like that, so we've actually got a little bit of an overhang here for something different. Let me see, where's that rickrack? I think I might pop the rickrack down the middle. Needs a little bit of colour, I think, or a little bit of a different tone. Maybe something in the other direction. Although, what's this here? Got this here, something like that maybe. Got some eyelash trim here. I don't know how how easy that would be to sew on. It might be a bit fiddly. I've got something like this. Take that off a moment. Yeah, I might do that actually, because you can see the contrast better. So that's just a doily offcut. So I might do that just to start with, and then all I do is I grab some pins and just pin it wherever I feel it needs pinning. It's actually very difficult to get the pin through that lace. The pins are just to hold it in place. You will find they get a little annoying while you're sewing though. Well, I find that anyway. Alright, so I've just got single layer thread, and I'm just going to start at the back and just simply in and out. I think I might go across the bottom just to attach them in place. And what I do is the top stitch I do small. I do it a tiny little stitch, and then the back stitch is a lot bigger, probably maybe 1/2 centimetre, 1/4 of an inch I think it would be, something like that. So that you don't see the stitches on top as much, unless of course you want that. If you want to use a contrasting thread, you can certainly do that. And I just simply go in and out, very simple, quite relaxing. The other ones I did make while I was watching television. So it was it's a nice evening sort of a thing to do. You know, you don't need too many materials out. The only downside, of course, is the threads that end up all over the carpet and your clothing. And of course, once they're on their clothing, they're also all over the house, which is a little frustrating, but there's always, you know, you've always got to put up with a little bit of inconvenience, don't you? It's not too bad. It's alright. So, just simply going in and out. And I might speed this part up. Now the downside also to having a longer thread is that they do tend to knot a little bit, so sometimes you've just got to be a bit patient. So smaller stitch at the top, and underneath use your bigger stitch. Right, so I've gone right the way around that particular, the bottom and the side. So I've just gone across there and up there. Just make sure you pull it so it doesn't pucker too much. And then I'm going to go across the top, making sure that I do catch as many of the layers as I can so they're held into place. And look, it doesn't have to be perfect, it really doesn't, especially if you're using a neutral thread or a toning thread that threads with your matches with your fabric, because you know, you don't always see it, so it really doesn't matter. And look, you know, that's part of the charm of them too, I think, that they are hand sewn. Okay, now I'm going to come down the other side. It's a little bit more fiddly now because that little doily piece keeps moving. I'm going to take that pin out. I think I might actually take it off and pop it on last. Just, okay, making sure that I'm not catching that second layer of thread. I think what I'm doing is actually sewing on the fringed part there, so I need to come in a little bit. But I'm not too fussed, I can just simply do another row along the lace. Doesn't really matter. The idea is to catch as many of the layers as you can so that everything's held in place. And of course these can be used to embellish your journals or tags, anything like that. They're quite pretty. Very similar to some of the other fabric clusters. I guess they're just a little bit more thought out, a little bit more with the placement, sort of a bit more uniform maybe, if that's what you like. You of course could put them totally random, but they're actually more sewn down, I guess is the word. You don't have just one row of stitching, you've got several. So what I've done there is I've just simply gone up through the that line there just to hold it, so then now that's quite held down so the pins can actually come out. I've still left that free, you could sew that down if you wanted. I think I might actually sew that down. So just scooting across. Now I'm not too fussed at what the back looks like, it's a bit hard for you to see, but you can see that's the stitch I just made, it's quite large, doesn't really matter. Bearing in mind it will get glued down, so it doesn't matter. Unless of course you're making them into a flip, then you might be a little bit more fussy about your stitches, but it's up to you. And of course you can embroider on it as well. You know, once you've done this, you might decide that you're going to do a little bit of colourful embroidery. Maybe some daisies or something out of some single chain stitches or something like that. But that's something you can add extra if you like. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Now I've got to attach that doily. Now I can actually sew back up through the middle, or I can end and start again. I'm just simply going to sew back up through the middle. I find it's probably just as easy. Very relaxing doing this, especially if you're not too fussed about it, and you know, the idea is not to stress about it. It really isn't. And I'm just going to place that there. Now all I'm going to do is catch the different I guess points of this particular one, just simply going up and down, making sure that I'm securing as much as I can without being too pedantic about every single little bit. As I said, the idea is not to make it too stressful. It's supposed to be relaxing. If you see any areas where it looks like they potentially could unravel, then make sure you go over that a few times because you don't want it to unravel. But other than that, just basically you're just sewing it so it's held down. The idea is to try to use different textures, slightly different colourings, just to add some interest. Sometimes you will find that your cotton starts to twist on itself. all I do then is I simply just let it hang down like that and untwist, and hope your needle doesn't drop out, as mine just did. Okay, what I might do is continue sewing this. I will fast forward this bit, and then we might start another one. Alright, I've nearly finished the thread, so I'm just going to finish at the back by simply just doing some back stitches in that first layer of the calico. Just a couple of back stitches so that it doesn't undo. Okay, and cut it off. So that would be one. Very simple, as you can see, but it kind of looks, I think, quite sweet, and that would look lovely, I think, in a vintage style journal. And as I said, you could add a little bit of extra colour, look, a button if you've got a button, although you've got to remember that you don't want it too thick in a journal. I guess that's the thing you must remember, don't do too many layers, because I'm sure most of you realise journals do get very thick, so it's best to try and keep them fairly thin if you're using them in journals. So that would be another one. Now the next one, I might just use this piece here, and I think, let me see, I might try to use one of these. I like this flower. It's not perfect, the stamping, but it will be fine. So just tearing that off. Now, of course, it's actually the same colour fabric, so obviously something needs to go between those to break that up. Let me see, I quite like this one actually. This I just picked up, I can't remember, maybe at a craft show or something. I think it was a fat quarter. So I want slightly bigger than that so you could see it. So, I'll pop that up in the top corner. Where's the flower? I might pop the flower down there. A bit of lace, let's have a look. I might pop some lace like so. And another little bit here. Let me see, it's a bit scrunched up, it's hard to... Too similar in tones, I think. Let me just see if I can get it a little bit closer. Okay, so it's a little bit too similar. So another shade of something would be good. This one actually, that's not too bad. It's a bit different. And then I do have some half. This is where it's really good to use up these half pieces, because you can sort of put them on the edges, like so. I don't like that one there though, but I might. No, I don't like that there. Be up the top. No, I don't like that. Oh, what else we got? We've got this one. Maybe I could swap that one for this one. Yes, actually I like that better. Yep, I do like that. So I'll just trim that. So I can pop that like so. Let me see, what else have I got? Well, there's a tiny little bit of lace there. No, don't think so. I think I might just leave it at that actually. So again, just some thread. As I said, it depends. You can do as many rows of stitching as you like. You could go back and forth on this, you know, covering the whole thing with stitching if you liked. That's entirely up to you. It really doesn't matter. I don't think you need to do that many, but if you want, no, don't like that. But if you want to make the stitching a feature, then of course you certainly could, and you would use the different thread. So again, starting at the back, and just make sure I've got enough, and small stitches at the front, larger stitches at the back, and try not to get it caught on those pins. Okay, now I'm going to go right across the top, making sure I catch some of that some of the crocheted twirly bit. Now I'm just going down the side. So I hope everybody's well. If you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that this year hasn't been the best year for me. Nothing major by any means, but I mean, it certainly could have been a lot worse, just little things. And at the moment, I'm sitting here now with a broken ankle. You know, just walking along, looking towards the distance, pointing something out, put my foot down on the edge of the footpath or pavement, and missed most of the pavement, and ended up overbalancing and falling over, which, yeah, very embarrassing, really. But what do you do? So ended up pulling, I guess, the tendon that's joined to the bone in the ankle, and fracturing the ankle, the little bone in the ankle. So at the moment in a moon boot, with crutches, not being able to walk very far, which I can't drive because of course it's my right foot. And this is actually the second time now that I've broke the same bone, which is a little concerning. Different break this time, so I guess that's kind of good. But yeah, not happy with myself, obviously. Very frustrated too. Can't go out and drive anywhere. Have to rely on everybody else to drive me around and do stuff for me. But, you know, just one of those times that are challenging. But I really must say I am hoping that next year is better than this year. I really am. Okay, now I've just gone all the way around the outside, so I'm thinking I'll probably take out the bottom pin at least, because they really are annoying me. Okay, now I've just got to catch this bit. Alright, so far I've just gone around there, around there. Now I'm going to come across here and then probably down there. So just going back to there. And this pin can come out now. So yeah, 6 weeks the bone apparently takes to heal. But I certainly hope I'm not in the moon boot for 6 weeks. I don't think I was the last time. This one's slightly worse than the last one I did. Which, you know, not good. But in terms of a fracture, it's only a minor fracture, really. So that's good. It's just concerning that it's my second one in, I think, 2.5 years or something. But it's nothing wrong with my bones, apparently. It's just me walking. So clearly I've got to learn how to walk better or pay more attention to what I'm doing. Other than that, I think life's been reasonably good. Nothing else has happened so far. And excuse me while I just lean over and touch some wood. So as I said, I hope everybody else is well and things are going smoothly. And you know, you're you're winning any little battles that you might have to fight. Overcoming all those challenges that life must throw at us. Okay, what I'm doing now is I'm just catching the embroidered doily bit now. So I might speed this up a little bit again so it doesn't become too boring. Okay, I'm quite happy with that. I'll just show you the back. Not that you'll be able to see too much. Oh, it's not too bad. You can see the stitches are all randomly everywhere. I think that's enough. I think everything's held down. And as I said, if you wanted to add a little bit of colour because you wanted to add this to a journal or something, there's nothing stopping you doing that. You know, you could have an extra bit of ribbon here or lace or something like that. I'm sort of doing them more neutral for the moment. Then I can add later if I need to a different colour. So I think it's you know, if you have a make-up someone, you're sitting there in the evening, you've got a supply of them ready to use when you need them. And I mean, you know, it's a good way to use up all those little scraps too. Okay, so I'm not sure how long this video is, so I might leave it at that, but I think you get the idea of what you do. They're very simple. They don't have to be perfect, as I said. Look, you could do them on the machine as well, but I think it might be a little fiddly on the machine. And I mean, part of the whole point of them, I guess, is that you can do them, you know, when you're sitting in the evening watching television or just relaxing. You know, you can just sit there and you don't have to concentrate too hard on them. They're very easy. So just those two are the ones I've made today, and I might just bring the thing out a little bit. Alright, so they were today's. I will put some pictures at the end of the video as well. I won't go through them all again, but I will put some pictures. So that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much to my new subscribers. Again, it's rewarding to see, you know, a few more people subscribing to my channel. It's nice to know that people are actually interested in what I'm doing. So thank you for that. Thank you to the people who comment regularly. There are quite a few ladies who do make regular comments. I do appreciate it. Sometimes it may take me a little while to respond, and I may miss a couple sometimes if I'm extra busy, but I do try to respond or at least acknowledge that I've read the comments. So thank you to everybody who comments as well. All right, I think that's it for now. So I will see you in another video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye for now.